Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining the session today. My name is Elizabeth Box. I'm Head of Research at the RYSIP Foundation, and I'm the Programme Manager for the DFT and National Highway Sponsored Road Collision Investigation Project. Over the next 20 minutes or so, I'll be outlining, based on the findings of the RYSIP project, what a road collision investigation branch in the UK could achieve. So my talk this morning will be in 4 parts. Firstly, I'll just discuss the background and outputs of the road collision investigation project. I will then provide a summary of the DFT consultation on establishing a road collision investigation branch, which, as many of you will know, was published on the 28th of October. After that, I'll outline some of the RYSIP findings and discuss the implications that these have for a UK road collision investigation branch. And finally, I will provide some thoughts based on the work to date about a road collision investigation branch in the UK and what it might achieve. So the Road Collision Investigation Project, or RYSIP for short, began in June 2018 when the RAC Foundation received almost £500,000 of government funding from the Department for Transport, which was also match funded by National Highways. The project's focus has been to develop and trial in a number of police force areas a different approach to identifying and understanding the common themes and patterns that result in death and injury on the public highway. Previously, before receiving this funding, we've published several reports on taking a different approach to collision investigation, all of which are available to read on our website. The first report, published in 2009, asked the question of why is there a separate investigation branch for marine, rail and aviation modes, but not for roads, where far more people are killed and seriously injured each year. It also questions why road collision investigation is more focused on establishing blame and culpability rather than learning the broader road safety lessons. Our 2017 report, named towards an accident investigation branch for roads, argued for the importance of bringing roads in line with rail, maritime and aviation sectors, and also argued that a fresh approach to crash investigation is needed. Finally, our 2018 report, A Highways Investigation Branch, What Lessons Can Be Learned from the Rail Industry and the Cullen Inquiry, concluded that as technology is integrated into highway use, there will be a shift in thinking towards a systems-based approach as used in other modes, such as rail. So over the past 2 years, we've had 3 investigators working in Humberside, West Midlands, and Dorset and Devon Cornwall Police. These investigators have been working on analysing their force's most recent closed case files to conduct in-depth investigation of individual collisions, and they've been using the ASIMAP approach to do this, which was developed based on research by Professor Neville Stanton from the University of Southampton. I will talk about the work of the investigators and the sort of safety learning that they have found later on in this presentation. The project has also commissioned several other reports to support the development of this investigatory work. This includes a RYSIP feasibility study from TRL, which reviewed the validity of the ASIMAP method for in-depth collision investigation purposes, and to what extent that could help us with extracting safety learning. Local area collision profiles to help inform investigation prioritisation were also developed by Agilicis, and an international review of road safety collision investigation approaches by Transafe has also been produced, which illustrates the different purposes and functions of overseas bodies to help inform our approach here in the UK. Other background information has been provided by TRL and the RAIDS team and the Road Safety Foundation on issues such as vehicle and roadside engineering and human factors as well. We have also been out to specialists to ask for specific information about accessing vehicle data and the implications for current and future vehicle collision investigation. So whilst the RYSIP project formally completes in summer 2022, Ministers have been kept informed of developments throughout the project, and we are delighted that the DFT is now consulting on establishing a road collision investigation branch. The consultation, as I'm sure many of you know, was announced on Thursday, 28th of October, and closes on Thursday, the 9th of December. I'd really urge you all to read and respond to this consultation. The road safety community has for such a long time called for independent road collision investigation. So it's important to get that sentiment across, and the DFT are really keen to receive road safety professionals' views on the outlined proposals. So the consultation is seeking to gather suggestions about the powers that a road collision investigation branch could possess, as well as how it might operate. So the consultation is in 3 parts. The first emphasises the current landscape. So obviously we have 43 police forces conducting investigations currently with a focus on criminal culpability. And as we all know, there is currently no standalone body focused on learning and prevention. So we have a lot of existing evidence. We have raids, Stats 19, crash, forensic collision investigation reports, prevention of future death reports. But this rich and varied information on its own is not enough to determine effective measures to tackle road collisions. Also, we have the Law Commission's recommendations. They've been conducting a review on driving legislation for the safe and lawful use of automated vehicles on GB roads. Their consultation paper highlighted that a specialist branch for AVs would ensure that lessons are learnt and to improve the safety of the technology as it develops as well. So this is the kind of current landscape that we're operating within. Second part of the consultation outlines a broad business case for RYSIP. The consultation states that there's no final decision. Final decision has not been made on the establishment of a RYSIP, as the needs and the benefits need to be fully considered before a decision is made. The consultation document states that a RYSIP would prevent the recurrence of collisions and incidents by identifying causal and systemic factors, understanding and addressing weaknesses and risk control measures, bringing together and analysing road safety data, as well as making recommendations based across high quality evidence that you could get across the whole country. It also states that a RYSIP would demonstrate that action is being taken and lessons learned, that it would provide an independent and authoritative voice on road safety matters, and that as a result, it would help to reduce the economic and social costs of collisions. The consultation document then goes on to focus on the core powers that a RYSIP would need. It talks about notification of collisions, so fatal and serious, the ability to carry out investigations, to preserve and disclose evidence, to cooperate with existing organisations, and also around the publication of reports and recommendations. The importance of interacting with other bodies is noted within the consultation, as is the importance of RYSIP having functional independence in its operation. So the third part of the consultation outlines the proposed remit for RYSIP, which focuses around investigating the causes and the contributory factors that lead to collisions, and this includes AVs, and then recommending appropriate policy interventions. So the exact remit would, as is suggested in the consultation document, be at the discretion of the Chief Inspector, but it is expected to operate based on what I've got on the slide here around selecting themes and or collisions for investigation based on salient potential safety learnings, and to adopt techniques best able to extract important new safety learning in relation to areas such as new technology where gaps are existing. So it's expected that RYSIP would enjoy the same or similar legal protections as other branches, with the types of activities that it conducts being broadly in line with the other branches as well. So as I said, the consultation closes on Thursday, the 9th of December. DFT is really keen to hear from the road safety community about your support or otherwise for a branch. So please do respond as an individual or on behalf of your organisation if you can. If you pause this recording and scan the QR code on the screen, it will take you to the news release and consultation on the DFT website. So in addition to the externally commissioned RYSIP work that I mentioned earlier, the work of the RYSIP investigators, Matt Butler from the Southwest, Matthew Dale from Humberside Police, and Emma Tomlinson from West Midlands has formed the backbone of the RYSIP project over the past 2 years. They have conducted a total of 37 investigations, each of which have gone through an extensive review process, which includes a review from Winston Resire, who is the principal investigator with the Rail Accident Investigation Branch. And they've also had subject matter experts review it from TRL. So these investigations and their recommendations are in the process of being aggregated by Professor Neville Stanton, so that the key recommendations arising can be presented to a broader audience. For a future RYSIP, we would expect that this type of individual investigation will be aggregated with other similar investigations so that the privacy of individuals are protected and so that broader safety learning for the whole system can be abstracted from multiple investigations. So each of the RYSIP reports contains the type of information that you can see on the screen. It includes a summary of the incident, scene maps, diagrams and photographs, as well as a sequence of events, and then multiple consideration factors related to road layout, road design and condition, environmental factors, vehicles and drivers. So an actor map is then put together, which outlines all of the organisations, bodies and individuals across the road safety system that had an input which can be related to the collision. The actions at these different levels are then categorised. This approach then supports the analysis which is subsequently conducted and the recommendations put forward in each report. I will now take you through a few examples that have been made within the RYSIP reports. It's important to stress that these recommendations have been made based on individual collisions and on their own without broader aggregation wouldn't necessarily be taken through to being a high level recommendation for action, but they are included here to give you a sense of what has been found as part of the RYSIP project. So in each report, the investigators state the recommendation intent and then the suggested recommendation or the suggested action. This is done to make clear that a recommendation intent could lead to many different actions, one or two of which they have outlined. So the first recommendation on this table here refers to the importance of reducing the number of older, less safe vehicles on the road and suggests that government should identify opportunities to increase newer, safer vehicles in line with the general safety regulation. The second recommendation makes reference to impact speeds on national speed limit routes where there is roadside hazards, and it recommends a review of national speed limit locations where roadside hazards are present. So this chimes with calls from the Road Safety Foundation around developing safer roads through engineering or speed management approaches. The third recommendation talks about window tint testing as part of the MOT and suggests that DVSA should include window tint measuring equipment for use as part of the MOT test. And the final recommendation on this list refers to improving the crashworthiness of roadside boundary fencing to prevent injury to vehicle occupants, and it suggests research and subsequent changes to rules and guidance in this area related to it. Some further examples for you here. So the first talks about recording more details at the collision location about motorcyclist PPE to better understand the implications of PPE for road safety. The second suggests the government review how repeat traffic offenders are managed to discourage reoffending. Following this, there's a recommendation on that slide there around reviewing the effectiveness of seatbelts in side impact collisions. And finally, a fitness to drive recommendation around diabetic drivers who refuse to take insulin and understanding what risks they subsequently present to road safety. In addition to the individual in-depth collision investigation reports, the investigators have also been putting together safety advice notices on issues which have been presented within individual case studies that they think should be brought to the attention of the relevant bodies. The first notice here raises the issue of the ease at which consumers are able to access substandard crash helmets that do not comply with safety regulations or legal requirements, which has been brought to the attention subsequently to the Office for Product and Safety Standards. The second advice notice focuses on road safety considerations around a particular festival, as the analysis found that the annual festival weekend accounted for 38% of all KSI collisions in or near the area over a 5-year period. So with this advice notice, this was brought to the attention of the local police and council, who were able to take action this year, and subsequently there were no reported KSIs over the festival weekend as a result. This third advice notice addresses motorcyclist airbag jackets. So there's been some research that has highlighted that some airbag vests available to UK consumers will not actually activate and inflate in time to prevent injury. So whilst there's a BSI standard on maximum intervention times, there are currently no requirements to comply with this standard. This again is an issue that has been brought to the attention of the Office for Product Safety and Standards. So I hope these examples just provided go some way to illustrate some of the work that's been conducted by the RYSIP team, and subsequently how a RYSIP would be doing a very different job to the police's and other existing bodies who are already working in this area. So with next steps for the project, we will be publishing an aggregated recommendations report in spring 22, and we'll also be publishing a final RYSIP project report in late spring, early summer next year as well. So for more information about RYSIP and to keep up to date with project developments, please do pause the video and scan the QR code on the screen, which will take you to the microsite for the project. So in closing, to directly answer the exam question I set for myself for this presentation, what could RYSIP achieve in the UK? Well, I think the simple answer is a significant amount. It has been a real privilege working on this project with the team over the last 3.5 years. And I think what has become abundantly clear to us over that time is that there's a big gaping road collision investigation branch size hole in the landscape. So there is a huge number of dedicated and professional, passionate professionals who are doing their utmost to improve road safety in the UK. But I would say without the coordination that a road collision investigation branch could provide, with the powers to investigate and the remit to provide evidence-based recommendations, a lot of the excellent work that is currently taking place will not have maximum impact. So we've been in touch with investigatory bodies around the world and interviewed the ones shown on this map earlier in the year, and the response on the value of independent investigation was universally presented by those that we spoke to. The Norwegian Safety Investigation Authority told us that HGV collisions had fallen by 60% over the last 10 years, which they attributed to be, well, at least in part, an outcome of recommendations which had been put in place as a result of safety learning. So do have a read of this excellent summary of some of the reasons that Norway has seemingly bucked the trends of and continued to achieve reductions in their KSIs. So I think for me, if we are going to be serious about achieving a Vision Zero and taking that approach, it really is vital that we seek to learn the safety lessons from incidents on the road network. Without a feedback loop dedicated to no blame safety learning, we're not going to get much further, in my opinion, in reducing KSIs on our roads. And this becomes even more important with the changing road environment that we've got in future years, and even today, thinking about electrified mobility, micromobility, and automated vehicles. So after many years of the sector calling for independent road collision investigation, it looks like it's an idea whose time has finally come. So thank you for listening today. I hope this has given you a flavour of some of the work that's been completed as part of the RYSIP project, as well as being a useful summary of what the DFT consultation document is proposing for a RYSIP, and some thoughts on what a RYSIP could seek to achieve as well. I want to give a big thank you to Matt, Matty, Winston and Emma for all of their hard work on this project, which has really helped to demonstrate and bring to life what sort of safety learning a future road collision investigation branch could seek to uncover. Thank you.